Hello, I hope everybody's well. And in my Dvar Torah, I'd like to begin with a story about when I was young. I've shared it before, but it bears repeating because of the lesson I think that it can teach us, and which has certainly taught me. I was probably around 4 or 5. My parents decided to move around some of the living room furniture while I was asleep. I woke up the next morning and threw a terrible tantrum because they had overturned my entire world. Everything was different. Nothing was the same as I remembered it. I screamed so much that my parents changed everything back to the way that it was, so I would stop my carrying on. This is one response to change, and certainly not a very mature one, but I was only a few years old at the time. Another story. It was about 2 weeks ago. I got up on a Sunday morning and went into the kitchen and noticed a strange symbol on the stove where the time is usually displayed. Instead of the time, it read F56. I had no idea what that meant, so I looked online and discovered that it meant that the electronic panel for the stove wasn't working properly. Certainly not a good thing. Lori and I did a little more investigating and found that the part would need to be replaced and it would cost a few $100s. And that's before the labor. The solution, well, unfortunately, was to get a new oven. But what choice did we have, given that the oven was probably more than 16 years old, and to put more money into it didn't make any sense. So that's what we did that afternoon. When we placed the order for the new oven, we asked how long it would take, just so we could prepare to get the other one out. Well, you can imagine our surprise when we were told it would be delivered around the beginning of February. Why? We were a little surprised. Well, as it was explained to us, because of all the COVID restrictions that were placed on the manufacturers and distributors, things were just not getting where they needed to be in the same time that it would usually take. Well, we had no choice, and complaining or screaming could not have changed anything. But there was one positive aspect to our situation. Because it's a gas oven, at least the stovetop worked, even though we couldn't use the oven. But at least we had that. However, how would we survive without an oven for more than a month? Well, fortunately, my wife is not only an excellent cook, but quite creative as well. So we're lucky that we also have a crock pot, and there's lots of recipes that you can use with the crock pot. Make all sorts of things with the crock pot. But did you know, as we started thinking out the problem, that you can make pizza in a pan on top of the stove? Well, Lori did. And did you know that you can make cake or a brownie in a cup in the microwave in about 45 seconds? Well, you can. There are probably other workarounds and creative ideas we will use for the next month or so without having the use of an oven. But sometimes we are challenged to look at life through different lenses and come up with other solutions to the problems that we so often face. As I learned a long time ago, complaining or kicking and screaming won't get us what we want. We need to find other ways around the problem. It's been a month since we were put into lockdown here in Toronto, and we'll be starting another month's worth as the entire province goes into lockdown this coming Monday. We don't like it, and we have legitimate grievances. We have legitimate concerns, and we should make them known. There's nothing wrong with that. It's our right and our privilege. But sometimes we have to roll with the punches and find those creative solutions to work around them? How will we keep in touch with our loved ones, not being able to do so as we may have during this previous month? What can we do to infuse our lives with perhaps new classes, new chances to do something different, new opportunities to learn, things that we may not have done before? Yes, there's no doubt there are many restrictions and there will be others, particularly as it moves forward for this next month. But let's choose to look at the opportunities open to us and not that which we can't do. Is there a book you've been meaning to read? A skill you've always wanted to try, something new to do or express? Now's the chance. Don't let it pass you by. That's part of the challenge we faced as Jews for thousands of years, living in and under conditions not of our own making. We haven't been able to do what we have wanted. But how have we survived? We've looked at the situation and found new and different ways to grow and to move forward. It's not always been easy, but we have survived and we are still here. And we will continue to be here because we have looked at life and what we can do to continue it forward, not how we can give up as Jews. Don't give up, my friends, particularly now when the cure is within reach as new vaccines reach us. Life shouldn't be about what we can't do, but the possibilities that are within our reach, and there are and will be so many. Best regards, and stay well.